And we are back to business today. Yesterday was Monday Fun Day. Today's zero fun. We're going to be all serious, no smiling, no laughing. Nah, that's impossible. We always smile and laugh in here, don't we, Chastity?
Absolutely.
We always have a good time. I'm going to come out of the gate swinging with something serious. I got some topics to talk about that, pretty heavy hitting. But, I was listening this morning. I got up early today. I'm not normally an early bird, but I was listening to Billy Brew.
Yes.
Killer show.
Love
He's
Billy
knocking
Brew.
out of the park in the morning.
He is awesome.
Then on the way, I went to the Oconee County Rotary Club. Shout out to the Rotary Club Oconee County. Those guys do a great job out there.
So you had to go early, right?
Oh, big time. I woke up at 5:30.
Okay.
I'm on fumes.
Oh, you
fumes, Chastity.
It's a good day.
It is a great way to start the day. Went out and visited with the folks in Oconee County. Came back, listened to Tim Bryant. I was thinking about this on the way back. I'm like, what a lineup we've got, because Billy Brew gets us off to a great start. He's cheery. Great way to start your day. Positive, forward-thinking, good music.
Yes.
Then Tim Bryant hits you with the news, right?
Yeah.
He can break it down better than anybody I've ever heard. He hits you with the news. He does a deep dive, really gives you some great details as to what's taking place in the world, in our country, and in our state. Then I come along and I ruffle everybody's feathers, right? I come along and I shake things up a little bit. And then Les Lane comes in. He's like the closer in baseball. Les Lane comes in at the end of the day and he fixes the mess that we've created. So Les Lane just kind of puts everybody back to bed, gets them ready for a nice, calm evening.
Oh, he's the glue that keeps us all together.
Oh, Les, what a great dude. What a great dude. We're so blessed. So, great lineup today. Fred Gretsch, G-Brand Barbecue, is going to be joining us first. Ben and Brock Bridges, our very own. They're part of our sports team.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, can't wait to have those guys in studio, right?
It'll be really fun.
Yeah, they're coming in here in person.
In studio.
And then Chuck Bridwell, friend of mine, he is a retired minister of music. He's got a great story to tell, and he's also somewhat of a / music historian. So we're going to talk about some of the origins of rock and roll, country music, and we're even going to dabble back into a little bit about Christian rock and roll, the origin of that.
Nice.
So Chuck is a self-proclaimed music historian. So praying for the people in Iran. It is a hot mess over in Iran right now. They're saying now that there's up to 2,000 people that have been killed during these protests, right? The country is coming unglued. The people over there are just sick and tired of the radical Islamic regime that is in charge of that country, and they want better.
Right.
They want better, and they're done. But what is just devastating is the amount of people, and they're saying 2,000 people. That's the information we're getting, Chastity. And if they're saying 2,000 people, I mean, it could be north of that, right? This could be, it is a shocking number. And then tomorrow, Iran announced it is going to execute a 26-year-old protester, Erfan Soltani, marking what would be the first execution tied to the current wave of anti-regime demonstrations. This is just sickening.
Wow.
It is just sickening.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. And President Trump has been vocal as far as telling Iran, don't do it, stop what you're doing to the people. He's even threatened military action. I don't know if that's on the table still or what they're trying to do to ease this. I can tell you what's really going to fix Iran is to get rid of the leadership.
Yeah.
These radical Islamists that are running the country have got to go.
Yeah, just evil.
It is. It is. It's like George W. Bush said before, they're part of the axis of evil, and the people there do not want this. President Trump has made it clear our beef is not with the people of Iran.
Sure.
It's with the leadership that has been threatening the stability of that region for decades. And so I'm praying, for first the safety of the people of Iran, the population there, that they, good Lord, that the killing stops, and B, that there is a regime change and that country can move to a more stable form of government that really allows their people to flourish and the country to flourish.
Yes, because it's such a beautiful country, and it'd be a great tourist, if it was just a safe place to go. The people make it safe, but just the leadership.
Their government
is
makes it
sad.
miserable.
Yeah.
That makes it miserable. Yeah.
Bless
So this next story, this is really crazy because this kind of ties into what just took place in Venezuela. So check this out. The War Department has been testing a covertly acquired device that may be linked to the Havana Syndrome. Do you remember the Havana Syndrome, Chastity? Does that ring a bell? So a few years back, we had some diplomats go down to Cuba, and many of these diplomats described a strange sound or pressure sensation just before the symptoms began, and the symptoms were dizziness, stress-related illness, what's some of the other things? Just a lot of bizarre, strange things, and they never could quite put their finger on where it came from. They didn't know if there was something in a device that was planted in the hotel. Well, the Pentagon has spent more than a year analyzing this device that they acquired, and they purchased it in an undercover operation. They paid like 8 figures. So millions of taxpayers' dollars went into buying this device. It is believed to have produced pulsed radio waves, a theorized cause of the symptoms associated with the Havana syndrome. And what's bizarre is, let's fast forward to what just took place not but a week ago, less than a week ago, in our strike in Venezuela.
Right.
You remember they said they went and they launched a device.
Right.
That kind of knocked everybody out.
Wow.
They were vomiting blood,
Yeah.
blood coming from the nose. They were nauseous. They were passing out. They were dizzy. That was the first thing I thought of when I read the story about the attack in Venezuela. I remembered, and I couldn't remember it was called the Havana syndrome, but I remember the event in Cuba where our diplomats experienced something like this. Maybe not as intense, but it was just frightening. There's one source says that the device is small enough to fit in a backpack, so it could be used as a projectile, right? If they're able to weaponize this, use it as a projectile. Common symptoms include headaches, dizziness, nausea, balance problems, ringing in the ears, vision issues, and cognitive difficulties. All very similar to what we heard in Venezuela.
Wow.
I don't think this is a coincidence.
Yeah.
I think we have figured out something and how to weaponize this and use it to our advantage and disable our enemy combatants, leaving our troops a clear path and to keep them hopefully out of harm's way as they perform their missions.
Right.
Just fascinating.
Yep.
Just fascinating. This next story, I thought this was a dead issue, but I guess it's not. The left is still hell-bent on being sure that men can compete in women's sports. So today, the U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear a landmark case challenging state laws that bar people assigned male at birth who identify transgender, blah, 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 blah. It's all the legal jargon from the left. This probably is already done now. I think the hearing was at 10, so probably this is concluded. I don't know what the results of this are yet. But once again, you have people that are challenging state law that said, hey, we do not want boys playing in girls' sports or men, if it's on the college level, playing in women's sports. But they just can't let it go.
It's just...
The fight continues.
What a waste of time and taxpayers' money.
And the citizens of this country do not want it.
No, not at all.
It
makes zero sense.
It's just almost, I think it's 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, and I don't know who the 2 out of 10 are, but nobody wants this. Nobody wants it at a grade school level, at a high school level, or at a college level, especially when men are fully developed.
Right.
And even though they still call themselves a girl, they want to go and participate. It's just mind-blowing that we're still debating and arguing and having to wait for a Supreme Court to make a decision on this. Right. I thought this was done. I thought it was behind us. I thought the left had detached that wagon from their train, and they haven't. They're still toting it. They're still fighting for this. So hopefully this is the beginning of the end, and we can move on and never have to discuss that insanity.
Well, it's just more division for the left, just trying to divide our people, but I mean, this is just
I don't know
silly,
what it is though,
silly.
Chastity. I think most normal people thinking on the left don't want this.
Right.
I think most normal thinking Democrats don't want this.
Right. It's extreme. It's like where does this come from?
Find me a Democrat that has 2 daughters that are playing sports
and that's worked super hard throughout their whole life.
The girls are taking the sport serious. Maybe they have aspirations to play at the next level, so they want to go play in college. And then they have to compete against a guy. And I don't care if it's in swimming, if it's in baseball, if it's whatever sport it is that they're playing, softball for girls. Find me a Democrat man that says he supports men playing in women's sports. Matter of fact, if you're out there, if you exist, if you're a Democrat dude, I'll let you email Chastity. And if you got a brain and a mouth on you that you can speak, correctly, I'll even interview you because I want to hear it. If you really want this, if you're a Democrat dude that has daughters and you want men to compete in women's sports, I want to hear what you got to say.
Help us make it make sense.
No, they'll never make us make sense. I want to make you make sense. So what I want to do is I want to convert you to start thinking right.
Right.
You can email Chastity info@WMOQFM.com and I'll get your mind right.
Yep. There you go.
All right. And then it turns out that all this exposure for the Somalian nationals that are still living here in the United States, that they have what's called temporary protected status that's coming to an end. DH Secretary Noman, Christy Noman said, hey, look, Somalia has improved enough to where you can go back to your own country. Mm-hmm. And I agree with this because if you look at the vast majority or nearly half of the Somalians that are here, they continue to stay on SNAP benefits, so they're demonstrating that they are here to absorb government support and our taxpayer dollars. They're not here to participate in the American dream, which is if you're an immigrant coming to this country, we want you to participate in the American dream.
Absolutely.
We want you to come here, go to work, start a family if you want to, get an education if you want to. But we want you to work, we want you to make money, we want you to save money, and we do not want you to be on taxpayer dollars. And unfortunately, that's what's not taking place in the Somali community. This is a side that the nearly half of them that are on EBT or SNAP benefits, that's aside from all the corruption and fraud that we're seeing that is perpetrated or allegedly being executed by this community. So I agree. Hey, if you're here for the wrong reasons, it's time to go back to your own country. This is the land of opportunity. This is the land of the American dream, and we want you to participate in it. If you don't want to participate, go home. But I don't want to work hard and see my fellow Americans work hard to pay taxes to support you.
Right.
Just don't have the appetite for
Or
it.
the mess that, our kids will have to be left to clean up or, just one day. So
That's right.
Just do it the right way.
Because what happens is those that come here and do this, mm-hmm. and then their children see what mom and dad are doing, how they're exploiting the system and getting free stuff. Yep. What do you think they're going to do, Chastity? Yep. Do you think they want to go to work? Nope. They're going to see what mom and dad are doing, and they're going to partake. And you're right. Then our kids will have to go out and work, pay their tax dollars to support people. I say nay. Ain't happening. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, owner of G Brand Barbecue in Oglethorpe County, our buddy Fred Gretsch.
AI now touches nearly every part of life, from writing articles to even driving cars. But it raises a deeper question. If we created AI, where did our intelligence come from? The Bible says it's a gift from God. He gave us the ability to think, reason, and make sense of the world. Some assume Christianity is just blind faith, believing something is true because the Bible says so. But that's not the case. Genuine faith invites tough questions. It engages the mind. As one pastor said, you don't have to give up your intellect to trust the Bible. You have to give up your pride. Real intelligence isn't just logic or knowledge. It's knowing the God who made you and loving Him with every part of who you are, including your mind. This is Bryant Wright. Really, Bryant Wright, not AI. Speaking right from my heart.
Seeking spiritual truth? RightFromTheHeart.org has resources just for you.
Lake Life is the Lake Area's largest award-winning magazine, reaching over 25,000 readers. Pick up your copy of Lake Life magazine today. Get Lake Life free at over 100 convenient locations in Georgia's Lake Country. And keep in mind, you'll receive your free copy with a subscription to the Lake Oconee News or the Eatonton Messenger. Lake Life. It's all about the lives and events in Georgia's Lake Country. Call 706-485-3501 to subscribe. Lake Life, the biggest, the best, and it's free.
Youngblood Tractor in Madison is proud to be your local Massey Ferguson dealer. Massey Ferguson has been building straightforward, dependable, and affordable tractors and farm equipment for 175 years. Massey Ferguson right now has the best lineup in their 175-year history, and there has never been a better time to upgrade to a Massey Ferguson tractor. Youngblood Tractor carries the complete lineup of Massey Ferguson tractors, ranging from the 22.5 horsepower subcompact all the way up to the 130 horsepower mid-range utility tractor. And with one of the largest trailer inventories in the state, you'll always have a way to get it home. Youngblood Tractor also carries the complete lineup of hay equipment, including the legendary Massey Ferguson 1840 square baler, as well as implements like rotary cutters, batwing cutters, box blades, grapples, pallet forks, and more. There are great financing promotions to take advantage of, so give us a call today at 706-342-2242. Youngblood Tractor also has experienced parts and service departments to take care of you after the sale. Visit us online at www.youngbloodtractor.com or stop by and see us at 1600 Athens Highway in Madison.
Since 1979, the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family has been caring for families in their time of need. The Tim Stewart family pledges to honor your loved one with excellence in service, compassion, and will guide you in making the right decisions. To learn more about the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family, stop in at one of their 3 locations in Monroe, Loganville, and Lawrenceville. Call 770-267-2594 or go to stewardfh.com.
AI now touches nearly every part of life, from writing articles to even driving cars. But it raises a deeper question. If we created AI, where did our intelligence come from? The Bible says it's a gift from God. He gave us the ability to think, reason, and make sense of the world. Some assume Christianity is just blind faith, believing something is true because the Bible says so. But that's not the case. Genuine faith invites tough questions. It engages the mind. As one pastor said, you don't have to give up your intellect to trust the Bible. You have to give up your pride. Real intelligence isn't just logic or knowledge. It's knowing the God who made you and loving Him with every part of who you are, including your mind. This is Bryant Wright. Really, Bryant Wright, not AI, speaking right from my heart.
Seeking spiritual truth? RightFromTheHeart.org has resources just for you.
Lake Life is the Lake Area's largest award-winning magazine, reaching over 25,000 readers. Pick up your copy of Lake Life magazine today. Get Lake Life free at over 100 convenient locations in Georgia's Lake Country. And keep in mind, you'll receive your free copy with a subscription to the Lake Oconee News or the Eatonton Messenger. Lake Life. It's all about the lives and events in Georgia's Lake Country. Call 706-485-3501 to subscribe. Lake Life, the biggest, the best, and it's free.
And welcome back, Marc McMain. Our next guest, Fred Gretsch, owner of G Brand Barbecue. Fred, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, it's a blessed day. How you doing, Mark?
It's been a bit since I've been out there eating some barbecue with you in Oglethorpe County. Is everything going okay out there in Oglethorpe?
Oh, it's really been a good year for us. We just finished up deer season this past weekend, and always love getting the traffic from the hunters into Oglethorpe County.
So, Fred, last time I was out there, you were raising cattle. I think you had about 50 head. Are you still doing that as well?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I'm in the registered Angus seed stock business. Gretsch Brothers Angus have been doing it for quite a long time, and we've got a few more than that for sure. Got bulls and replacement heifers that we raise, and it's an awfully good market this year.
Well, before we get into what you do, your business, and a little bit about your background and legacy, let's talk about your relationship with Julio, because I know you were a fan of Julio, and I think you used to actually do some advertising on the station back in the day.
Oh, for sure. Julio was a big part of us getting started here in Oglethorpe and spreading the news of what we're doing with G Brand Barbecue and our menu, and he's helped me through the years. We talked cattle, we talked farming. Like Julio, he just he's down to earth, and he was a personal guy, and we're going to all miss him for sure.
Yeah, sorely missed, no doubt about it. The station, we actually put a little tribute together here on one of the walls in the station. I call Julio and Les the godfathers of WMOQ, and so always have a place in our house. So let me ask you this, Fred. Tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself, maybe how you got into the cattle business, and then how you got into the barbecue business.
Oh, for sure. So I'm a University of Georgia graduate, go Dogs, in the College of Agriculture in the Economics Department. And, coming through college, I just was looking at different ways to go. Our family's in the music business, and so I've got ties to the Gretsch musical instrument business. My dad and mom still own that. But I really loved the outdoors, and farming always piqued my interest. Here in northeast Georgia, poultry business was so strong, and ended up going in that direction out of college. So I went to work for Gold Kiss Poultry and worked for them for a number of years here in the southeast. Loved that job, and later, 10 years in, bought a poultry farm and grew that to 10 broiler houses.
Oh, wow.
And cattle and hogs, and stepped away from the management and enjoyed the farming side of it for a number of years. And, with farming, it's up and down and profitability, but I always wanted to try the the other side of the table. So instead of the production side, the sales side. And we love doing barbecue. And so we just, God put these things together, and the old Chevrolet dealership in Crawford was vacant, and we worked the deal out. It was built in 1906.
It's a great location. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only red light in Oglethorpe County today. I'm sure that'll change here in the next few years, but big spot, and it just brought the community together, gave us a chance to learn and grow in the food side. And, knowing the production side, I understand where the food comes from and how to get the best products. And
yeah, think about it. You've seen both ends of this equation, right? So you've seen the source side and you see the consumption side. So that's a very interesting perspective. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Fred Gretsch of G Brand Barbecue in Oglethorpe County. I say this, you and I have had long conversations about the ag industry. You're right. It's a complex industry. It's not for the faint of heart. We're blessed in Georgia that we have so many people that have committed themselves to, whether it's harvesting crops, raising or growing crops, or in the cattle side. What you do is not easy. So the question I've got for you, going back, any musician has heard of Gretsch guitars, right? That is a legend in the industry. Was mom and dad disappointed that you didn't take that path, that you didn't continue in the music side?
I've always stayed tied to it, and so just thankful to be a part of that family and my mom and dad's support. And through the years, they want family in it, but understand they also want us to go our passionate ways. So this is the area of passion, and I've been able to sit on the Gretsch Family Foundation board and help charitable causes with the music industry. So that's been fun, but make my livelihood on the agriculture and now restaurant side.
Yeah, so it kind of allows you to keep your toe in that pool, and then you still pursue your own aspirations and your own dreams. I like that. So G Brand Barbecue, owning a restaurant is not easy. Especially, January is a tough time of year for restaurants. A lot of people are sitting at home licking their wounds after spending all their money at Christmas. How has the experience been so far? Is this something that you are involved day to day? Do you have a team that runs it for you? Because I know the times that I've been there to eat supper, you're always there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing I love about this is just the customer interaction. I love to meet people, understand where they're from. God's given me a trait of service as one of my gifts, and I try to use that in this industry. My wife and I, since you've been in here last, we bought the Covered Cafe in Dillard, Georgia, and that's a very large restaurant that's been established for 40 years in
Wow.
Dillard from the original family. It's just above the Dillard House on 441, and it's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, very well-known place.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you, and just love the business. It's you always have to be a student, and I tell my kids that, and I tell the young people that work here. I love training these young people and giving them an opportunity to grow and learn. And the barbecue restaurant's just open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, lunch and dinner. But it's such a great place for people to learn, people to come and meet. Just want it to be a good spot in the community.
It is. It's a good family-friendly experience. You go there, and again, I typically check to be sure you're going to be there before we make the trek, because you're about an hour from where I live, and it's always worth the drive. But you're right. You've got a great staff, great team. And what's interesting about your menu is, and tell me, and again, it's been a bit since I've been out there, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. But obviously you have brisket, you got pulled pork, you have ribs, but every now and then, don't you grill steaks and some other items?
For sure. Yeah, we've come to have every Friday night, we hand-cut ribeyes, and we also do grilled shrimp. And so from 4 o'clock to close on Friday nights, we call it date night. We always have that. But then every week, my wife, Angie, she likes to do a flair, so she's very southern cooking, and she'll add broccoli, rice, and cheese casserole, or sweet potato souffle, or squash casserole, black-eyed peas, turnip greens, and a number of sides where if somebody just wanted to come get sides, that would be perfectly great. And then last week we added, a different thing, so it's not stale. We did hamburger steaks last week. We'll do a brisket chili this week.
Yeah,
it just keeps the creative side of cooking and customers always trying something new.
We're getting hungry over here, Fred. Yeah,
Yes,
Chassie
we
and I are
are.
over here. We're licking our chops
Our
now.
mouths are watering.
We haven't had lunch yet. This is dangerous. I don't know if we can make it to the 2 o'clock hour now. We have to make it. Oh, can we Uber G Brand over
Yeah,
here?
right, exactly.
I could definitely go for a ribeye right about now. What's next for you guys? So you acquired the restaurant in Dillard. What's next for you guys? Do you want to keep expanding, or is there other things that you want to do on the ag side?
Kind of some of both. I'm so blessed. We've got grandkids that are coming in flushes, and it's always fun to watch them. And so, each restaurant, the communities are growing. Crawford and Oglethorpe County with it one red light now, so you watch it. Maybe in the next year or two or couple years, the developments coming in are just amazing. And Dillard's the same. They've been renovating the road up there for a year now, and there's about 25,000 people that pass that restaurant every day in Dillard. Right now, they're expecting that to move to 40 to 50,000 a day once it's truly four-laned with a good median turn. And that's just a significant increase, and I'm sure those road apps, Means and Ways and whatever else, will send people based on the easiest travel routes, and that's what will put them right in our back door in Dillard.
Well, and G Brand's a great location as well. And so, Fred, please tell our listeners, how would they find you if they're coming from, let's say, the Walton, Oconee, Clark County area?
Absolutely. You could come straight out Highway 78 out of Athens. We're 12 miles from the Walmart on the east side of Athens. On Highway 78, you'll come into town. It's the only red light. We'll be on the left. We have a drive-through that's really cool. You drive right through the middle of the building. So we open up roll-up doors, and it's a neat experience.
That's got to be new. I don't think you had that last time I was there.
That's right. And so we just love to have people. We do a lot of catering. We do weddings, wedding rehearsals, parties, and love to do that. Have done a bunch of corporate stuff out at the Facebook facility. And, a party of 1,200 is not too big, and a party of 50 is not too small. So
Man.
Glad to help either
All
way.
sizes, yeah. That's great. And somebody wants to learn more, do you have a website they can go to?
Absolutely. You can go to www.gbrandbarbecue.com. You could also order on Chow Now, which is associated with our website, and we just love to see you, Mark. You guys need to get back out here, and we'll do some more advertising with you.
Liliana and I are going to come out there for date night. I don't know if it'll be this Friday, but I'm saving one of those ribeyes for me. Matter of fact, I'll call you before I'm coming to be sure you put a ribeye aside for me. I want a big one.
That's great. And on a Sunday, if you're bumping around, come to Dillard, and we'll do prime rib for you.
Oh, my goodness. I love prime rib. Love prime rib. All right. You had me at prime rib. I'm good. I'm in. This is going to be great, Fred. I'm so happy for you. I appreciate all the time that you've always spent with us when we come to visit you out there, and I do look forward to seeing you in person, buddy.
Absolutely. You guys be blessed, and any way I can help you, let me know. Appreciate what you're doing for WMOQ and the listeners of the Bostwick, Monroe area.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you, Fred. Okay. All right. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. It was Fred Gretsch, owner of G Brand Barbecue. Chassie, that sounds like a road trip. Maybe we do a remote there one day.
Yum.
I don't know how we would do that, though. Imagine if we ever did a remote at a restaurant. I think I'd have so much. I'd be chowing down. I couldn't talk.
It's okay.
You'd have to do the show.
Yeah, it's okay. As long as we can eat and fellowship, we'll be able to.
He's got great sides out there too. Potato salad's out of this world.
Yum.
Really good potato salad.
I was really getting hungry.
Yeah, I know. Last we need to talk about ribeyes, and I haven't had lunch yet.
I know.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, our very own Brock Bridges here in studio with us. Yep. Stick around.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Affordable housing is just around the corner at Cimarron Park. Cimarron Park is a mobile community located on Harry Arnold Road, just off of Highway 78 in Monroe, that offers 2 and 3 bedroom homes with spacious wooded lots, lit streets, and a family-friendly atmosphere. Some homes are for sale with available financing. Call James for all the details. 404-401-1068. That's 404-401-1068. Or go to CimarronPark.com.
When it comes to tasty treats, the only place you need to be is Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Offering high-quality Georgia pecans, other nuts, dried fruits, coffees, and candies, Stone Mountain Pecan has it all. And the best part, it's all online at StoneMountainPecan.com. Or take it all in person and visit their country store on Highway 78 in Monroe. Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Something for everyone. Eat well, be happy.
And welcome back, Marc McMain. Our next guest is our very own Brock Bridges. If you listen to our high school football game of the week on Friday nights, we obviously have our play-by-play crew, which is Jeff Hood, John Wilson. Thank you. I almost botched his name again. Those guys are absolutely fantastic. But to make this whole thing go around, we've got an entire show that starts really sometimes at 5:30, 6 p.m.
Our pregame
show.
Yep.
And Brock and his team, Thomas
Paris,
run that. And you guys are good, Brock. Thanks for joining us today.
Man, I appreciate it. We put a lot of work and effort through the week into getting that pregame show set up. And, Thomas is one of my very best friends. He was on air with me, when we did 102.5 and 92.3 games. He was also my broadcast partner for years. And very, very proud to announce he actually just had a newborn baby who's a month old, and I got to go visit him.
Yeah.
He lives in Woodstock right now, and I just went up Saturday and visited his newborn baby, so he's blessed. And
congratulations to him. Yep. That's great. Good times. Yes. A lot of fun. This is his first baby.
His first baby, right. Jack Thomas.
Congratulations.
Yep. Tell him to enjoy his sleep because it's going to be vacant for a while.
Yes.
So I'm so impressed when I listen to this entire production on Friday nights, and I mean it, folks. If you have not heard our high school football presentation, it starts at 6 p.m., goes till maybe 10 or 11 p.m., depending upon how long the game goes for, because you guys do a pregame show, you have a halftime deal, and then you do a postgame. I think your dad comes in and does the postgame. Is that right?
Yes, the roundup, and he'll call me and sometimes Rusty from Monroe or a bunch of places, teams and fans and supporters and whatnot.
It's come a long way since. So my first experience with WMOQ was about 25 years ago. And Julio and Les Lane had given me the opportunity to be the color commentator on the high school football game of the week.
Okay.
And the play-by-play guy was a guy named Claude Dix, who was a friend. Well, I became friends with Claude. I met him through the station. Claude was an aspiring play-by-play. I think that's what his major was at UGA. Very good at what he did. And then they bring me in, and I'm just kind of a hack, filling in the voids, talking about what's going on. So when I look back at what we did or what WMOQ did for high school football back then compared to what you guys are doing now, this is a whole new ballgame, no pun intended.
ESPN level.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a serious production. We take it very seriously. It's a large team of guys that love high school football. And it was going to be very hard for me to avoid high school football, being the son of my father, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And
legend in Oconee County.
Not very long after, if you're talking about 25 years ago, about 2001, not very long after that, I was at a high school football game, maybe 03 or 04, and David Kopp and Charles Bellflower and Julio might have been there that night. They waved me up to the, into the press box, and we need a spotter. So
that was your first introduction into this?
I think it was an Athens Academy game, and it kind of took off from there. It just, that night right there, I was like, this is it. This is it.
You knew you wanted to be part of this, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into this because, again, it is a great production. I'm impressed with I can tell you guys put in effort to make this thing go around. Tell us about Dad. Tell us, because I've gotten to meet your father a few times through the station and what we do, and he does the high school sports minute. So I think he comes in Sundays, he creates that, does his research in that. Matter of fact, I listened to it. They played it on my way to the station today, so it's a kind of a good snapshot analysis of what's taken place in the state of Georgia, or specifically in this region. But tell me about Dad. What was his origin? Is he an Oconee County native? Did he play football? Where's his passion? Where did it come from?
Well, first of all, my dad's a very good Christian man, right? And he raised me. He raised me, as Jesus as my Lord and my true father.
That.
And so that was the main thing, right?
That's a good dad right there,
yeah.
man. Yeah.
And then Dad had a very normal 70s upbringing in Oconee County, right? He went on to play high school football for the Warriors, and he I like to say he starred as defensive end, right? And then I've heard this story a million times. His high school football coach, Coach Burnett, talked to Coach Jimmy Hightower at Georgia Southwestern, and he got to go play some college football. So Dad played tight end and defensive end at Georgia Southwestern when they had a football team. They no longer do.
Okay.
So Dad played some college football, and then he started driving trucks, and then eventually I was born in '93, and the story gets a little bit funny at that point, right? The way I know it, and Dad, he can exaggerate a little bit, right? But
hey, that's a dad's job. We have to exaggerate.
Yeah, and as I have 3 kids as well. I'm starting to do that as well, right? The story I like to say is that he went to a Oconee County High School football game after maybe a couple years from not really being too involved with the program out of college. I think it was 91 or 92, and Oconee was certainly struggling. They weren't doing super well, and he was there supporting his high school, and there was no PA announcer. He looked up into the press box. There's nobody announcing the game. So Dad took some of his high school buddies. They walked right up into the press box and started announcing.
Just said, hey, I'm your new PA announcer.
31 years later, he's still sitting there.
Your dad's got a great voice for that.
He does. It worked perfectly. And, he was already an outgoing guy and whatnot. And he sat down, and next thing you know, they're like, oh, you're going to come back next year? He's like, oh, sure, And then they opened Warrior Stadium. I think it was the first year they opened Warrior Stadium was his first year, because they used to play at the old middle school.
Okay.
And, I was born into Oconee football, right? I mean, I was a baby going to the games.
Yep.
Some of my first football memories, I'm a huge football fan. Some of my first football memories are of the 1999 state championship team. I was about 6 years old.
See, I started right after that.
Yes.
The year after that is when we first did our broadcast covering Oconee County or Oconee football. So it was right after y'all won the state championship.
Yeah, and certainly had ups and downs. And one thing about Dad that one thing I wish that I was a little bit more like him on is, man, he really stuck with them. They'd be 0-10, 0-10, and then he was there calling every game just like they were 10-0, and then it paid off, right? Oconee, Coach Nolan comes in. Oconee started winning. We go to 2 state championships, lose 2 heartbreakers in Turner Field, which at that point it was already Georgia State Stadium, but I still call it Turner Field.
Yep.
So those are fun, but and we still follow Coach Nolan, and he's lost 2 more state championships. So we're really hoping that Coach Nolan can do that. But Coach Hall is doing good with the Oconee football program, but Dad's always been going to high school football games, taking me to college football games. I mean, that was just kind of one thing we always did together, right? And
he's a community guy, though.
Oh, yeah.
He really he just thinks outside the box, and he's very considerate. There's times that he's called me and said, hey, Mark, there's something I think you should think of, or somebody I want you to meet. He takes that extra step and goes the extra mile. So you just see that's in his DNA, and that's just impressive. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Brock Bridges, son of Ben Bridges. Brock is part of our high school football pregame, or just our entire collaboration that we do on Friday nights. It is class level stuff. Very good job that you guys do. Brock, so give us an idea of what goes into a show prep. So when you're doing this, obviously I've listened to it, and you guys have data on individual athletes. That's not always easy to get, but you guys have an idea of where the kids are going to go to school, where they want to attend college. You have really good insight. Are you guys spending time interviewing? How do you do your research on that?
Well, one of my skill sets is I'm a cataloger, right? I have a database for everything.
Okay.
I have, a side note, I have the largest, most accurate data in the world of Supercross statistics. I'm the head writer for supermotocross.com. I have an Excel file 1,000 sheets long. Same with high school football. I have everything prepared. So I have a large Excel document, and every week I go through and I update every little bit. I spend a good 3 or 4 hours just at a time, kind of
just prepping for it.
And then Thomas, he has his. We kind of split the work, right? Thomas does. I give him, hey, go write the recaps for the games, and then I'll write the scores, and then you figure out who's going to play in the second level, and then we really bounce off each other. And now we've kind of changed it to where he has his teams that he does, and I have my teams I do. So
you kind of specialize then.
And Julio at one point was like, we need to figure out who are our teams. So I looked at the map. I put a pin right where the studio is, and I found the 35 high school football teams that are within our listening area.
So even though we may be covering let's say it's a Loganville or a Monroe area high school game, you guys are able to pull in all the updates and data of what's taking place in the surrounding games that may have an impact, whether it's a regional game, somebody in our same region, or just some connectives or ties to this area. Because, again, our station covers 7 or 8 counties,
right.
A lot of high schools in that area.
Yeah, and that's why, it's really like 10, all the way to Newton County, down to Greene County, up, Morgan. I go to Oglethorpe and Elbert and Barrow County, and then schools have been added, right? We got Bethlehem Christian now. We got Loganville Christian that's playing 11-man football. So we've really had to expand that through the years. And then there was one point where Julio was like, hey, we're selling ads in Newton County. We need to cover Newton, Alcovey, East Side.
Right.
So I added those in there. And, so it's been the preparation that goes into the pregame show, and even when I do the games, like this season, I was with Monroe area doing the webcast with Riley O'Neill and Johnny Evans, and that's been fun. So even when I'm just prepping for Monroe, this is something that I have already been building for 2 decades, right? So, I kind of make it easy on myself. I'm very blessed to have a job where I work in an office and have a lot of free time.
You got some flexibility to spend,
Yeah, and shout out to the Best Western. I'm the front office manager at the Best Western in downtown Athens. So I get my boss, Tripp, who's also played at Oconee. He's an Oconee guy as well. He gives me some freedom to be able to work on my stuff there,
Yeah.
So, I'm always constantly, he's always like,
check in the guest and do a little high school football research.
Yep. And he'll always, give me heck about it. He's like, doing your football stuff, and I'm always, trying to figure out what's the big stat line, where, who's the next big player. And we have it formulaic. I try to change it up a little bit, but I'm kind of have a formulaic mind. So I kind of try to keep the same process week by week.
Any bizarre stories when you're doing this, when you're doing your research, or maybe interactions you've had, anything that jumps to mind that was like, man, that's a shocker?
Well, I would say that we've had some times where hurricanes would mess up the game, right? And there's been times where I've had to pre-record the show, and then things change going into Friday.
Oh, so whatever you put down on tape is no longer valid or good.
Right. Yeah. So that's happened a couple of times, and then I think that probably the worst thing was with the Appalachia situation that happened going into a game week, and I had already pre-recorded that show. So, but yeah, I mean, one thing about high school football is, there's not a lot of surprises until the night of the game, right?
Yeah.
When you play high school football on paper, you're going to lose. So you might go into a game thinking that one thing's going to happen. So there's really not a lot of surprises going into the pregame show.
Right.
The surprises are going to come in the postgame show on the field, and then
I got you.
The upsets, that kind of thing. For instance, going into this year, I mean, Monroe area, Walnut Grove, right? Yeah, Walnut Grove was like 3-0. They hadn't really beaten anybody. Monroe area was ranked number 5 in the state, and you can never tell what's going to happen in a rivalry game, Mark. Never. And Walnut Grove came out there and smacked them in the mouth.
I remember that.
Beat them.
Yeah, that was big upset.
Yeah, that was a big upset. So, yeah, it's on the field. I go into the pregame show with not a lot of surprises a week of. There's some injuries that can occur, like Jefferson, for instance, lost Max Brown earlier in the year. So that might be a shakeup, but one thing you got to look for is weather, and like early in the season, you might have some hurricanes coming through.
Yeah.
So
that always plays a part in what comes up on the Fridays. Yeah.
But most of the time, we're recording our show live. There are some times with Thomas living in Woodstock, we do pre-record it, but I think we do a pretty good job pretending like we're at the,
Hey,
at the game.
You can just shift on the dime if you need to. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Brock Bridges. When we come back, we're going to talk more about what they're doing with high school football and beyond.
Need a hot biscuit in the morning? You'll find that at Stripling's General Store. Need a hot lunch like chicken with some of your favorite side dishes? You'll find that at Stripling's General Store. How about some yummy barbecue or Brunswick stew for dinner? You'll find that at Stripling's General Store. Plus there's ice, fuel, snacks, cold beverages, and so much more. It's your one-stop shop. That's Stripling's General Store. Highway 78 East and Highway 53 in Bogart. Open 7 days a week.
Madison Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood. They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops. All military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
Cassie Enterprises invites you to stop in and see their new line of Coyote brand tractors, UTVs, and Bad Boy zero-turn mowers. Coyote tractors have the power to handle any job. Working on the farm, landscape business, and more, Coyote tractors are dependable and ready to work for you. Sales, service, parts, and more. It's all available at Cassie Enterprises. Family owned and operated. 145 Highway 83 in Good Hope. Go to CassieTractor.com.
Lake Life is the Lake Area's largest award-winning magazine, reaching over 25,000 readers. Pick up your copy of Lake Life magazine today. Get Lake Life free at over 100 convenient locations in Georgia's Lake Country. And keep in mind, you'll receive your free copy with a subscription to the Lake Oconee News or the Eatonton Messenger. Lake Life. It's all about the lives and events in Georgia's Lake Country. Call 706-485-3501 to subscribe. Lake Life, the biggest, the best, and it's free.
AI now touches nearly every part of life, from writing articles to even driving cars. But it raises a deeper question. If we created AI, where did our intelligence come from? The Bible says it's a gift from God. He gave us the ability to think, reason, and make sense of the world. Some assume Christianity is just blind faith, believing something is true because the Bible says so. But that's not the case. Genuine faith invites tough questions. It engages the mind. As one pastor said, you don't have to give up your intellect to trust the Bible. You have to give up your pride. Real intelligence isn't just logic or knowledge. It's knowing the God who made you and loving Him with every part of who you are, including your mind. This is Bryant Wright. Really, Bryant Wright, not AI, speaking right from my heart.
Seeking spiritual truth? RightFromTheHeart.org has resources just for you.
Welcome back. Marc McMain. Our guest is Brock Bridges from our High School Football Game of the Week crew. They do the pregame show, and they do all kinds of statistical analysis to be sure that you have the up-to-date data going into every game, every Friday night. But also, in addition to that, Brock, tell us about the Supercross stuff, because I was telling you in the break, I'm a motorcycle guy. I got my first bike when I was 10 years old. I bought my first motorcycle when I was 14. It was a 1988 XR100.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we just mentioned that I had an XR100 for a little bit as well. Yeah, certainly. So for the past 12 years, I've been sort of the de facto head statistician for the Supercross series. And then they merged the Supercross series with the Motocross series. So now I went from 17 weeks to 31 weeks straight, where I send in all the kind of like what I do with the pregame show, right?
Just every analysis week. And data. And
yep. And so
wow.
if you were to look up This Week in Supercross, that's my work. And then supermotocross.com publishes my weekly stat article. And the NBC is who we work for. So
yeah, that is.
And that's
really
another
cool.
thing that Dad opened the door for. Right, Dad was similar to the Oconee PA thing. He was running around Supercross races in the early 90s. He got
so that was a passion of his as well.
Exactly,
yeah.
dirt bikes and football.
Yeah.
And Art Ekman, longtime ABC broadcaster, randomly met, became good friends, and Dad started being his stat guy. And then when everything started turning into the computer age, I was like, Dad, I got this. Just go do football. So I kind of took over at that point. So
the other day I was walking my dog in the woods, and across the other side of the woods, several hundred feet away, several hundred yards away, I could hear somebody driving an old two-stroke dirt bike. Do they still make two-stroke dirt bikes?
They make them like Yamaha still makes their YZ125. They're not producing them in mass.
Is that raced? Is that a racing bike?
You can certainly race. So if anybody's out there is interested, so Jared Leisure, he's actually a Georgia boy. He races pro motocross and pro supercross and tries to qualify, and he has qualified for some main events on a two-stroke. He's like one of the only guys that still is out there racing pros.
But the four-stroke technology's advanced so much that now that's just the bike to go to.
It's scary, and it really is. They're almost, and this is the old man coming out of me, they're getting a little too fast out there for these guys.
They really?
I mean, it's these guys, these pro racers, man, they are really pushing the limits out there. And
wow,
I don't know.
What's the top speed? Is 250? Is that the racing class, or do they race 500s?
So they're racing 450s in the main class. That's your top pros, and then it's kind of like NASCAR and Nationwide. They got the 250 class that races kind of the younger guys trying to move up. So the 450s, man, they're ripping 40, 50 miles an hour, hitting these jumps, 30, 40, and going into turns. I mean, that's
crazy.
I would implore you guys to go check out a Supercross. They're not in Atlanta right now. They're going to Nashville this year. They're going to Birmingham. So those are kind of the two. They're in Daytona every year. That's one of me and Dad's trips. We like
very entertaining to watch Supercross.
Oh, Supercross is incredible. So I would implore everybody, if y'all have Peacock or NBC Sports, turn on Peacock 7 o'clock every week on Saturday nights. This week they're going to be in San Diego.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I spent 9 hours writing all my stats for the San Diego Supercross, and my article should be coming out in a couple of days. So
that is
certainly
just too cool. The only gripe I have in the four strokes, they don't sound as cool.
Oh no, man! I mean, I'm going to be that old man here in a couple of years, that's just going to be like, everything was better back in my day, man. You had
to mix the oil in with the gas, get the smoke coming out. Just the whole experience.
And Dad's a humble guy, right? He raced 500 two-strokes back in the day.
He raced the big dogs.
He raced 500s, and then he had 2 of them, and he sold one of them to buy me a little 50 when I was 3. He got me racing, right? So I raced, actually, Monroe Off-Road Ranch is where I grew up racing, and Aonia Pass in Washington, Georgia. So those are 2 of the tracks that I grew up riding and racing on. So that's a big passion of ours as well. And so it's, I'm dirt bikes, football, and then that's how it is.
And Jesus, like you said,
and Jesus.
Dad raised this young man right. I love this. Dad did a good job.
Yeah, and I lead the men's group at Crossroads Baptist Church in Jackson County, Georgia. So if anybody has a has a church they're looking for, we got a good spot over there. But that's the main thing, right? We went to Briarwood Baptist Church growing up. Dan Fuller led me to Jesus when I was 7 years old. And
amen.
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely
great. That's fantastic. Marc McMain show. Our guest is Brock Bridges. He's part of our high school football team on Friday nights. Brock, so give us a little bit of some breakdown. Let's talk about maybe some of the counties closest to the station here. Let's talk about Walton, Oconee, maybe Clark if you want to, whatever, Morgan County, which had a great run this past year. What do you see coming up for next year with these counties? Are these schools still going to be good? Is Monroe going to be good next year? Are they losing key players? What are you seeing so far?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I'll tick those off right away, right? Yeah. So if I go back to my first full season calling the games was 14. I had been working for the station going back to about 06, but in 2014, Social Circle was 0-10. George Walton was just starting to get into JHSA. Loganville Christian was playing 8-man football. Loganville was losing, right? Yep. Monroe area was 0-10 and for 2 years in a row. Right. Walnut Grove was just starting their programming.
Yep.
To now, what's happening? Look at Oconee County. Look at North Oconee just won their second straight state championship or went to the state championship game.
Right.
And yeah, Morgan County, I followed their playoff run 2 years ago with 102.5. And, me and Thomas went up to Rockmart, and they lost to Rockmart there in that semifinal game or quarterfinal game. And, so Oconee, North Oconee, Athens Academy, Prince Avenue, those are their Oconee schools.
Yep.
They're all looking really good, right? So, I think all 4 of the Oconee schools are going to be good. Morgan County does lose some of their top playmakers. But
that's always tough. I mean, when you graduate a bunch of seniors, you kind of got to rebuild maybe a season or two, but maybe there's some young men waiting in the ranks.
Absolutely, and that's one thing in high school football that's different than college. You can look at a college and a pro team and see kind of who's coming up. High school football, we're talking about 14, 15-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Only the people that are right there on top of the program really know
what the talent
is. So you go into
Yeah.
week one and you're like, who knows how this kid's going to be?
Yeah.
And lately it's been pretty good, right? And, heck, look right outside of Athens. Oglethorpe County's made the playoffs a couple of times in the last few years. They were a program that struggled for decades. And then in Clark County, you got Clark Central. Cedar Shoals has a new coach. Now, that was probably the best 0-10 team I've ever seen. Cedar Shoals had a hard schedule. They went 0-10 again, but look out for Coach Sharpie. I guarantee you that he's going to have them on the winning track. And, Athens Christian but going into Walton County, Monroe area, they're certainly losing players, but a player that emerged this year was Cooper Shoemate, sophomore quarterback. He's going to be more than likely at the helmet quarterback for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think that Monroe area always has a good ninth grade JV players coming up. And, I really do think Monroe areas might be better than they were, but they do lose a lot of good players.
And it's funny because in high school football, it seems like if one good player in defense, one good player in offense, you can almost win a game with them. They can be that impactful.
Yes.
I remember back when we were covering Oconee County back in the day, so bear with me now, Brock.
Yep.
This goes back 25 years. They had a running back, Tyson Browning.
Mm-hmm.
That kid changed the game himself.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal player.
He actually had the state record in touchdowns for up until somewhat recently. And I actually likened Monroe area's team last year to that 99 Oconee State Championship running-wise, right? So you had Tyson Browning and Tony Taylor, kind of that duo. And then at Monroe area, they kind of had two really good, backs last year. So, I kind of draw comparisons to my past history.
Yep, right.
But one of my favorite runs, switching gears a little bit, one of my favorite runs I got to follow was 2020 George Walton. So they had a ninth grade quarterback, Gavin Hall. He's 15 years old. They went to the 15 years old. They went to the semifinals, and Coach Beers finally getting that program. They struggled for a little bit. They went to the semifinals also this past season, and so that was a really fun run as well. But yeah, Walton County has 6 teams that I think could be really good next year.
That's a lot of fun.
And Social Circle, I think, is the best example of that. In 2014, I was working with Bob Whitley, who did unfortunately pass away recently, and he was my partner, and he taught me a lot about things. But I called the first ever game at Social Circle at their new stadium, and they went 0-10 that year. Well, now Social Circle has been to the playoffs 6 straight seasons. Wow. So it's just one of the most rewarding things is to follow these teams through when they're doing really bad and see them, being really good. Similar to Oconee County when I was in
to see
high
that
school,
growth,
we were really
right?
bad, and getting out of high school and seeing them go to the state championship a couple times, that's very rewarding.
It is. That's a lot of fun, and it's fun for the whole entire community, and it's fun for us as a radio station as well. Brock, in the last minute, tell us about what you're looking forward to next season. Any surprises that we should be watching for, or what are you most excited about?
Well, the regions are going to change, right? And another thing that is going to be new for 2026 is the playoffs are going to be seeded by the power ratings alone.
Okay.
I think the region champions are given a home game, and that's it.
Okay.
So your strength of schedule is going to have a lot to do with it. Monroe area was hurt by that. See, last year Monroe area, you make your schedule good years in advance. So when Monroe area made their schedule, they weren't thinking about strength of schedule.
Right.
So they played some teams earlier in the year that weren't very good, and they go into the playoffs 8-2 with the worst seeding for a second seed in the state, and a lot of that had to do with their strength of schedule. So you're going to start seeing a lot better non-region matchups.
Okay.
Over maybe not this year, because like I said, the schedules this year were made 2 or 3 years ago. So high school football is about to enter its golden age in Georgia, because the teams that are supposed to be in the playoffs are going to be in the playoffs. Kind of like college football, right? Everybody always clamored that, hey, we need more than 2 teams playing for this national championship game.
Right.
So it's kind of the golden era, I like to say, of high school football coming up.
I know if Jeff Hood is listening to this right now, he's salivating. He's licking his chops because this is he can't wait.
Oh, yeah, no, Jeff is, a great person and very knowledgeable on high school football. John, it's a great team. It really is.
It is. We're blessed. We're blessed to have you guys.
True.
Brock, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate all that you do for the station and being sure that this is a quality production come Friday nights in the football season.
Hey, I love it, man. I love what y'all have done to the studio and how y'all continue to honor Julio's legacy. And, and we really appreciate everything, and certainly would love to be back on, maybe closer to football season to see
absolutely
how things look.
Yeah, we can do like a little tee up for the next season and see what to look for again.
And we do have a preseason show every year, but certainly anytime I'm skip and hop away.
That's right. We'll pull you back in.
Co-host too on maybe some sports days.
Yeah,
get him to come in and co-host with Mark.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah. I know too much about college football and the NFL, so I'm certainly got plenty of information to pour out.
And please tell your dad we said hi.
I will, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of fun. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We'll be right back.
This is Q92.3 WMOQ FM, Bostwick, Monroe, Madison. Your home for real country.
Have you been putting off auto repairs? Do you want a body shop you know and trust? Go see Auto Correct Collision. Auto Correct is a family-owned and operated collision center with over 45 years of experience. Their equipment and training exceed industry standards. No repair is too big or small. Ask about the special drawings and mention this ad for a discount. Visit Auto Correct Collision at 409 Mayfield Drive or call them at 770-207-1241.
Hey, this is Doug.
And this is Robbie.
We own and operate Foy Tree Service.
When you need tree cutting, stump grinding, lot clearing, mulching, firewood, and more, call Foy Tree Service.
Serving Morgan County and surrounding area since 1987.
With top quality service and fair prices, we take pride in our work, and we do everything to make sure that you are a happy customer.
That's Foy Tree Service. Call us at 706-342-8733.
That's 706-342-TREE.
Make sure your diesel is ready for every season by stopping in at Leadfoot Diesel. Their technicians have many years of combined experience to keep your Cummins, Power Stroke, and Duramax running the way it should. Plus, they can improve fuel mileage, perform upgrades, AC repair, and they offer tires, wheels, lift kits, and more. Diesel owners from all over the country trust Leadfoot Diesel, 320 Mayfield Drive in Monroe. Stop in or go to leadfootdiesel.com.
Need a hot biscuit in the morning? You'll find that at Stripling's General Store. Need a hot lunch like chicken with some of your favorite side dishes? You'll find that at Stripling's General Store. How about some yummy barbecue or Brunswick stew for dinner? You'll find that at Stripling's General Store. Plus there's ice, fuel, snacks, cold beverages, and so much more. It's your one-stop shop. That's Stripling's General Store. Highway 78 East and Highway 53 in Bogart. Open 7 days a week.
Madison Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood. They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops. All military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
Cassie Enterprises invites you to stop in and see their new line of Coyote brand tractors, UTVs, and Bad Boy zero-turn mowers. Coyote tractors have the power to handle any job. Working on the farm, landscape business, and more, Coyote tractors are dependable and ready to work for you. Sales, service, parts, and more. It's all available at Cassie Enterprises. Family owned and operated. 145 Highway 83 in Good Hope. Go to CassieTractor.com.
Youngblood Tractor in Madison is proud to be your local Massey Ferguson dealer. Massey Ferguson has been building straightforward, dependable, and affordable tractors and farm equipment for 175 years. Massey Ferguson right now has the best lineup in their 175-year history, and there has never been a better time to upgrade to a Massey Ferguson tractor. Youngblood Tractor carries the complete lineup of Massey Ferguson tractors, ranging from the 22.5 horsepower subcompact all the way up to the 130 horsepower mid-range utility tractor. And with one of the largest trailer inventories in the state, you'll always have a way to get it home. Youngblood Tractor also carries the complete lineup of hay equipment, including the legendary Massey Ferguson 1840 square baler, as well as implements like rotary cutters, batwing cutters, box blades, grapples, pallet forks, and more. There are great financing promotions to take advantage of, so give us a call today at 706-342-2242. Youngblood Tractor also has experienced parts and service departments to take care of you after the sale. Visit us online at www.youngbloodtractor.com or stop by and see us at 1600 Athens Highway in Madison.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. Our next guest is a gentleman, Chuck Bridwell. He is a retired minister of music, and I'm going to tee it up a little bit, Chastity, so our listeners kind of understand the connection here. I consider Chuck a friend of mine, but Chuck is the father of Jennifer House. She is the woman's pastor at Greystone. Her husband is the lead pastor, Jonathan House, who was on our show a couple of months ago. Yep. And Jennifer will be on in a couple of weeks with Liliana.
Yep.
So we're keeping it all in the family here. Chuck, thank you for joining us, sir.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, you've got a fascinating story. So you spent the majority of your career as a minister of music, and we're going to get into that, but I figured I'd let you tell the listeners about where you're from and maybe about your beginnings.
All right. I'm a Texan. Don't mess with Texas.
I can pick it up in the accent. I hear it right out of the gates in the Baylor sweatshirt that you got on. Yep.
Right. And I was born in Denison, Texas, and grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. And Texas was my home. Now, when I went to college, I went to Oklahoma Baptist University, near Oklahoma City. And then when I did my master's degree, I came back to Fort Worth to the Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, got my master's degree there.
Wow.
And so I had a fantastic home church, Sagamore Hill Baptist Church in Fort Worth. Both of my parents were Sunday school teachers. My dad was a deacon, chairman of the deacons.
So you were destined to be in the ministry in some form or fashion.
And just truthfully, when I was about 14 years old, I felt God very clearly calling me to be a minister. Now, there was a problem with that. Number one, I didn't know what kind of minister.
Okay.
I knew it wasn't a preacher because you'd have to stand up and talk in front of a bunch of people, this 14-year-old brain was saying. And,
not for me.
I knew I didn't want to be a music guy because my voice was changing, and church I'd be singing soprano verse 1 and bass verse 2 and my voice was going crazy, and who could be a music director? You got that going. Knew I didn't want to be a missionary because I didn't like Chinese food or African food.
So that was off the table.
That was off the table, and education, I don't know what those guys did, didn't have any idea. And by the time I went through the whole list, nothing was left.
I was going to say, I think you covered it all, Chuck,
yeah,
and that's about it.
But what I did know is that God called me into full-time ministry. So there was a minister of music at Sagamore Church that kind of took me under his wing. He was actually a minister of music and youth, and he had me start working with children's choirs, and he let me as a high schooler sing in the big choir. It was a big church. 150 in the choir.
And was music a passion of yours up to this point, or was it starting to develop an interest in you?
Yeah, kind of. I started playing piano when I was like 9 years old, and I quit after about 6 weeks because I wanted to do sports and play outside.
Well, I'm glad to see you had your priorities straight. That's good. Yeah.
And then, but when God called me to ministry, my mom said, Chuck, you don't know what you're going to be doing, but no matter what kind of ministry, it would be good if you knew how to play the piano.
Yeah.
So that kind of made sense, and I had a great mama, and I listened to her, and I had a great dad too. And now she was very musical. My dad was not. He taught me so much and was a mega model for me of what a man should be. But my mom was the real musician.
Okay.
So I started taking piano from Mrs. Collier, a senior adult lady, who taught me not only piano, but how to read music, music theory. And by the time I was a senior in high school, thanks to Mrs. Collier and thanks to Gerald Ray, who was my pastor in music ministry, I knew God was calling me to be a minister of music. And by that time, I'd started writing music and arranging, and ended up getting a scholarship in that at Oklahoma Baptist University. And Miss Collier had done so good. When I was a freshman, I was tutoring my buddies in music theory because she had taught me so much. So I just knew all along that God had called me.
God was calling you to the ministry, and you just kind of figure out, which path.
And then He just directed me directly into full-time ministry.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Chuck Bridwell. He's a retired minister of music. Chuck, so when you are the minister of music, are you then spending your week? So let's say let's go to your career where you're actually at a church and you're leading, whether it be the choir or the whole music program. Are you responsible for curating all of the songs that are going to be played on Sundays? Is it, what does that look like?
Well, yes, but it's much more than that, because in some of my larger churches, I had 600 or 700 people in my ministry, because I had 10 or 12 choirs. Now, I didn't direct them all. Some of them were children's choirs. I did direct my 2 youth choirs and the adult choir. And so I planned the services, and I consulted with the pastor, of course. What are you going to be preaching on, whatever, and I would plan around that. But also there was a lot to the administration of that, and we went on mission choir tours and had big productions in Miami, where I served for 24 years. I had the Miami Christmas Pageant, which was a huge production citywide, and it was just our church. But I had a cast of over 400 people.
So this is a full-blown performance then.
Full-blown.
Yeah.
We ended up in started with 1 performance first year, then ended up over the years with 8 performances in 4 days, and had almost 20,000 people coming to our production. And so I had a whole team. I obviously did not do that by myself. I had a wonderful team around me, helped me plan and execute.
Love it.
All of that.
Love it. And it's interesting, too, because think about how music has changed, especially as it pertains to churches. So what year would it have been that you actually took over and were the minister of a church? Was that back in the 80s or?
Well, actually, when I was in college and a sophomore, 19 years old, I had my first choir.
Okay, so what year would that have been?
That would have been 1962.
So think about this. Think about from 1962 to 2026, where we are now, how music, as it pertains to churches, has changed. And we're going to use Greystone as an example.
All right.
Because Greystone, when you go into to Sunday service, it's a rock band. I mean, it is just fantastic music, playing Christian contemporary music. But I don't think anything looked like that back in 1962.
Not at all. In fact, if you were a member of our youth group at Sagamore Hill, if you danced, you were on the out crowd.
You were out, yeah.
We were kind of a footloose church that our socks did not hop. And so we rock and roll, all of that, when it was coming out, was not a part of where we were. And now church, now I had my first full-time church out of seminary in Paducah, Kentucky, First Baptist Church. It was very high church, choir robes, pipe organ, all hymns, and obviously that was before, or just really kind of just as Jesus music was starting out west, mainly in California and that part of the world.
Yeah.
And but not in our services.
Right.
Never. And then my second church was in Oklahoma City, and served there for 6 years. And that's when we kind of let some of the folk music come into particularly our youth choir.
What year would that have been?
That would have been 1968 or 9, right before the 70s.
Well, and I did a show a couple months ago, but not even that long, maybe just 6 weeks ago, where we talked about and I think the premise of the conversation was, if there is a guitar in your band at church, there's a good chance you could thank Larry Norman for that, right? Because he was kind of the guy that brought that to mainstream contemporary Christian music. And we'll dig into that in the next segment, but it's just fascinating to see the evolution of music in the churches, because some churches still to this day are still old school. They don't allow instruments.
Yeah. Well, I went through what was called the worship wars, and I have scars to prove it, because some people did not want anything but hymns, and other people in the same church says, "Why are you singing so many hymns? There's all the new music is so good." And so most of my career, I would say, was kind of like blended worship, where we use both hymns and modern songs, but not nearly in the Greystone genre of lights and
electric guitar
and So, but I love that because I really felt like I was part of history. The super dramatic change in church music. Now, interestingly enough, I'm currently a member of 2 Baptist churches, and one of them is Flat Creek Church, where I was minister of music, and for a while we had a choir, but we also had a band, drums, guitars, all of that, and sang mostly modern songs, but hymns as well. But I'm also a member of another church, First Baptist Church Gainesville, which was kind of like the churches when I came out of seminary. Choir robes, no screens.
Just old school.
Old school. And I love, that's my heritage. I love it, but I loved my time at Black Creek too, so I'm a very blessed man.
Well, what I say is whatever gets them to Jesus, right? That's what matters. You're listening.
And both of them are strong evangelical churches, but just different worship styles.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We come back more with Chuck Bridwell, retired minister of music.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
Do you have unwanted or scrap gold and silver jewelry just lying around? What about sterling flatware or gold and silver coins and bars? Madison Coin and Bullion will pay top dollar for any precious metals you own. Madison Coin and Bullion also offers a large selection of gold and silver coins and bullion available to purchase at competitive prices. And if you're looking to purchase jewelry at a considerably lower price, look no further than Madison Coin and Bullion. Madison Coin and Bullion, located at 2492 Eatonton Road in Madison, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
A Ford Bronco Sport for only $25,000. That's just one of the year-end deals at Aikens Ford in Winder. Hi, this is Brad Aikens, and through December 31st, take $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2025 Ford Broncos and Ford Bronco Sports. So you can drive a 2025 Ford Bronco Sport home starting at just $25,238. Stock number 04630, MSRP $35,238 with approved financing through Ford Credit and your 1995 Renew or Trade. Dealer retains factory rebates plus government fees. See dealer for details. Visit us today at AikinsFord.com.
Anytime is a great time to make memories of the Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary in Lilburn. Close to home and fun for the entire family. Not only will you see wildlife up close, like bears, otters, bison, and more, you can enjoy a picnic lunch. There's gem mining and so much more. The Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary, 4525 Highway 78 in Lilburn. Make plans to visit soon. To learn more, go to YellowRiverWildlifeSanctuary.com.
Welcome back. Marc McMain, continue our conversation with Chuck Bridwell, retired minister of music. Chuck, you tell us about what brought you to Georgia.
Basically, 6 grandkids.
Want to be close to the family.
Yeah, I want to be closer to the family. I retired from full-time. I had 43 years of full-time ministry in 4 different churches.
Okay.
I mentioned 3 of them. The 4th one, the last one, was in Waco, Texas, and also taught some church music at Baylor University while I was there. But 11 years, great time there. But when I retired in 2010, Debbie and I we loved Waco. Had we no family, we would have retired there. But the big draw was the 2 daughters. I've got the best 2 daughters on the planet.
Yep.
And each of them had 3. So the 3 grandkids, they were ages about 3 to 14. which is a fabulous time to have your grandkids.
That's a good reason to pack up and move right there.
So we
yeah.
packed up in Gainesville, Georgia. Where's that? But they're kind of between them because Jennifer was in Loganville, Grayson, and other daughter was in Greenville, South Carolina at the time.
So nice in between,
in between them.
Perfect.
So I don't know how many ball games we went to and concerts and just trips we took the kids on. We had 3 grandsons, 3 granddaughters, so we'd have a girls' weekend at our house, and then next week a boys' weekend, and sometimes we'd have all 6 of them. It was like it was crazy and so much fun. I miss those days.
You're a brave grandpa. Well, let's talk. And I know you went through some tough times in the past 5 years. Share with our listeners. Let's start with the COVID vaccination and what that put you through.
Okay. Well, Debbie and I, we had a wonderful 50th wedding anniversary. Everybody's healthy, great, had a wonderful celebration. And about a year later, when COVID broke out, I live in an active adult community called Crestwind at Lake Lanier, a big community of 55 plus. And everyone was so nervous about, I've got a COVID shot, and the government was telling us, and our friends were, when are you going to get your? Well, they arranged for the hospital to send people out to our community, and 700 of us got vaccines shots.
Yeah.
And then first one, fine, no problem, and then the second one. 700 again, and after a day or two, I felt my legs kind of getting weak, and so I went to Walgreens and bought a cane because I just needed a little stability. And then a couple of days later, cane didn't work, so I went and got me a walker, an old granny walker, the old that kind. Then I was trying to get to a guy who had been recommended as a neurologist, and going out to the car, I just collapsed in the house.
You're kidding me.
And Debbie called 2 of our neighbor men, and they picked me up and carried me to the car. And we got to the doctor's building. They put me in a wheelchair and rolled me in. And he sent me immediately to the hospital, and I was there several days, not quite a week. They couldn't figure out.
So they're trying to figure out, because you were walking perfectly normal prior to this.
What was interesting is I was 70 years old playing full court basketball with young guys, and I was playing pickleball and tennis, and I've always loved sports and been involved one way or another.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of
active lifestyle.
I did a lot of coaching of kids and etc. So anyway. They dismissed me, and I said, well, what's the diagnosis? She said, well, it's unspecified neurological whatever. And I said, in other words, you really don't know, do you? They said, well, no, we don't.
And at this point, you now have, you can't even really walk. You can't
I cannot walk. At that point, I'm in a wheelchair, and they sent me, so I went back to the neurologist, and he threw a fit. And he says, I know exactly what it is. It's Guillain-Barré syndrome. And it's
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a neurological condition where you lose your muscles, and it starts in your feet, moves up your body. And some people, it goes all the way to the head, and they go blind and all. Mine stopped right below my lungs. And there's a story there, because people had asked me, how long are you going to lead music? I said, as long as the Lord gives me strength and breath, I'm going to serve the Lord. And it stopped right below my lungs.
Right below. Wow.
Where my lungs could function. But sure enough, they put me on. I was in the hospital about 5 or 6 weeks, went through some therapy. They thought that they had got me where I needed to be. They sent me home. I was started to do some physical and therapy and occupational therapy. And after 3 or 4 days, says, "Sir, I hate to tell you, you're getting worse."
Well, here's what's because when I met you, you were in a wheelchair,
Right.
and you just walked into our building. We have steps come up this here. You walked in on your own. I mean,
Yeah.
so this is
With a cane.
But I mean, you're up and about. I mean, this is incredible.
It's pretty amazing because they sent me in, sent me home, they sent me back to the hospital. I was there another 6 or 7 weeks, and then had home health care. By that time, I was basically paralyzed. I couldn't lift my legs. I could move my arms. Everything from lungs up.
Right.
I could talk. I could see. My hands went a little crazy. If you'll notice.
Yeah.
And the doctor had never experienced. He knew for sure it was the vaccine.
That it was related to the vaccine. Yeah.
And so anyway, bottom line is I was paralyzed and in a wheelchair for maybe 18 months and was going through therapy all this time. They had to carry me to the therapist. Buddies would help me do that. But the really most unfortunate that I never worried about me. I knew God was going to take care of me. I didn't know exactly how.
Right.
Now my neurologist told me he thought I'd be in a wheelchair the rest of my life. And but through tons of prayer and lots of hard work, I've made it where I am today. But I ended up having chronic Guillain-Barré syndrome, CIDP, 4 words, I can't tell you what they are. And I will always be, quote, crippled. But I'm so blessed right now to...
I don't know. The trajectory that I've seen from when I first met you to today, I think the pickleball days are not far away. I think don't give up on that yet.
Now the most sad thing that happened at the same time, it was about a year after that happened to me, my precious Debbie was diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
Devastating. Yeah.
And she fought it for 4 years. Went into remission twice. She would have a bad year, then a good year, and we would travel and do all kinds of stuff, even though she was having to push me around in a wheelchair. And ironically, we were both in this hospital at the same time. She was in one wing, I was in another. But the third time it came back is when I lost her about 2.5 years ago.
I remember when Jonathan and Jennifer were going through this and all the things that you guys were facing, and so I know that was a very difficult time for your family.
Yeah, we were married 55 years, and she
woman.
She was the most beautiful woman that was ever been anywhere on this planet. Just
when we went to the ceremony, good Lord, Chuck, there had to be 1,000 people there.
Yeah, they packed out. We had my church, Flat Creek. I was not at First Baptist yet, but I was at Flat Creek Church, and it only held about 300, and so we had to find another church bigger, and it was just packed out with people.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Chuck Bridwell, retired minister of music, sharing his story of his journey through the ministry, family, tragedy. Let's end on a good note for this first segment. Tell us about the great-grandkid that's just joined the family. I know that's the highlight of the life right now.
Oh, my goodness. Well, let me just do one thing before I talk about Miles.
Yeah.
That's not what I call him, but we'll talk about that later. I'm going to get because if my people are listening, and I'm going to get in trouble here in a minute. But our verse for our journey actually comes from a hymn, "Great is Thy Faithfulness," and the phrase is "Strength for today, bright hope for tomorrow."
I love that. Yeah, that's
still my motto right now.
It
in
means
my life.
something. Yeah.
In fact, I'm writing my memoirs right now, and that's going to be the title of my memoirs. But let me tell you about Miles. With 6 grandkids, and all of them are smart and good looking, and 3 of them are married now.
Yeah.
And I got 2 that are about that far from being engaged, and will be getting married the next year or year and a half. I'm thinking. Then there's little Jessie, just graduating from high school, and she better not get married for a while.
But with all these getting married, there's more great grandkids on the way now. It sounds like
that's the hope. But Julia Jennifer's daughter has a master's degree in counseling and has a career as a counselor. But she delivered unto me my first great grandchild, a grandson, Miles J. Dunn.
That's awesome.
And my name's Chuck, and behind closed doors. Well, not all closed doors. I call him Little Chucky.
I think that's a privilege of a great grandfather. You get to name him. They can name him, and then you get to add a name to it. I think that should be a law.
Yeah. Now, nobody else calls him that, but he is something else. And I'm actually I've been with him maybe 4 times, and I'm going Saturday to have lunch with Miles, and if the parents want to hang around, that's okay too.
What a blessing. What a blessing. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We come back, we're going to dig into the history of some of these music that we talked about. We're going to talk about country music, rock and roll, Christian rock and roll, and Chuck's going to lead us on a little bit of a tour. We'll be right back.
Leadfoot Mulching and Grading offers land clearing, hauling of gravel and sand, and more. And now offering screen topsoil for the farmer or homeowner, asphalt paving, and more. No job is too big or small. Locally owned and operated, it's Leadfoot Mulching and Grading, serving all of North Georgia. Fair prices and great customer service. Phone 404-909-5227 or go to leadfootmulching.com.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Hey y'all, it's Bethany at Willfully Guided Co. Boots and Western Apparel. Whether you're on the job site, in the barn, or out on the town, we've got the perfect boots for every occasion. From rugged work boots to stylish fashion picks, let us outfit the entire family from head to toe. Come see us at 116 South Broad Street, right in the heart of beautiful downtown Monroe. Willfully Guided Co. Boots and Western Apparel, your local family-owned destination for the finest boots and apparel around.
Franklin's Gun Shop in Athens has everything you need for hunting and fishing. They have great prices on their guns, ammo, scopes, bows, gun safes, knives, blinds, tree stands, and rod and reels, clothing, and more. I do all of my shopping at Franklin's, and they're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 9 to 9 and Sunday noon to 6. At Franklin's, you'll get great customer service from people who know what they're talking about. Family owned since 1961, located at 3941 Atlanta Highway in Athens.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to mainstreetbarberloganville.com to learn more.
Keep your vehicle looking and running like new with help from the Wow Express in Monroe, offering a state-of-the-art drive-through vehicle car wash that includes free vacuums, window cleaner, and so much more. Be sure to check out their unlimited wash club that saves you money. Open 7 days a week at 911 North Broad Street in Monroe and their second location at 242 North Broad Street in Winder. To learn more, go to wowwashandlube.com.
Are you looking for custom t-shirts, golf shirts, or uniforms for yourself or work? What about a family reunion, a fundraiser, or sports team? Whatever you're looking for, Chris and Debbie at Blue Hound in Monroe can help you. Real Country uses Blue Hound for our golf shirts and t-shirts. They do quality work and they're great folks. Blue Hound is located at 111 East Washington Street in Monroe. Go by and see what they can do for you or call 404-307-3664. That's 404-307-3664. Tell them April sent you.
And welcome back, Marc McMain. Our guest is Chuck Bridwell, retired minister of music. And part of your journey, Chuck, is I know that you had spent time on cruise ships and you were the historian, the music historian.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do a little bit of a dive on this. I think we can start off with rock and roll. I got a few questions for you there. We'll shift to country music, and then we'll wrap up with Christian rock and roll.
All right.
But let's start with rock and roll. And the question I've got for you was, Buddy Holly, was he the father of rock and roll?
He was one of the early pioneers. Actually, rock and roll has kind of a gray beginning because it came out of rhythm and blues.
Okay.
And came out of country music, kind of went together. There's rockabilly now. Buddy Holly, Lubbock, Texas. I just toured his museum there about a year ago. My sister lives in Lubbock, and but I love Buddy Holly's music.
Yeah.
Very, very much. But
even today, it's still fun to listen to.
Oh, it is. But Fats Domino was all R&B guy, and of course they wouldn't play black music on the white stations.
Right.
And so Pat Boone would cover "Ain't That a Shame," and because they wouldn't let Fats Domino be aired at that time.
What about Chuck Berry? Where did he fit in the conversation?
Chuck Berry was just all energy, a little bit like Little Richard.
Yeah.
Just all kind of energy, that kind of thing. And I think what really put rock and roll on the map was Elvis Presley.
So he comes a little bit after these guys.
Well, he comes mid. Actually, he's same time as Buddy Holly.
Really? Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. He started out in like 1954, Sun Records in Memphis. In fact, there's the $1 Million Quartet. It's a Broadway musical, but it had Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis and Johnny Cash and some of these guys in the early days, and this was all just kind of blossoming slowly. Nobody knew where it was going in the mid '50s, and then Buddy Holly Buddy Holly was the first to write and produce and be the artist in all the music. Most of these other guys just sang what other people wrote and other producers.
How old was Buddy Holly when he died, and what would his trajectory have been, do you think?
Oh, Buddy Holly would have been the most incredible senior. I mean, his music would have lived way past him.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the day the music died.
Yeah.
That's the famous with the Big Bopper and
Richie Valens.
And that horrible thing up in Iowa, the plane crash. And
how old was Buddy when he died, though? Do you remember?
He was 28 or 9.
No, so he was in his 20s still. Good Lord.
I'm not exactly sure, but it was mid to late. He was just a kid when he started, but he had little trivia. Where did the Beatles get their name?
Got me.
From Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Interesting. So they pulled a...
And so they loved Buddy Holly, the Beatles, and they were looking for a name. It's called B-E-A-T, like the beat.
Yeah.
But because of the Crickets, they said, well, let's be the Beatles then.
Latch onto that.
Yeah. So just a little rock and roll trivia.
You listen to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Chuck Bridwell, talking about the history of rock and roll. So Elvis comes along, and like you said, now he becomes an international celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my mom was a huge Elvis fan when I was a young kid. She talked about Elvis all the time. So such a huge impact. At what point then did rock and roll start to take the turn towards what we would have heard in the 70s? Let's say the bands like Journey and Boston and all that. Mm-hmm. So the music is quite different. So if you listen to music 50s and 60s, it still has that classic 50s beat. The music from the 70s is quite different. How did that come about?
I think it took the turn with the Rolling Stones in the mid '60s.
Okay,
and then the British invasion, which was was the Beatles, of course,
in a different sound, right?
In a different sound, and like in the Rolling Stones and that genre, made it a little harder rock, and that started creating the 70s and 80s sounds as that developed, and even we can journey with the Beatles. They changed. Me personally, I love early Beatles. I don't love late Beatles. I like it. It's okay, but I love that early, more primitive, oldies rock and roll sound.
Yeah, I'm a fan of any of the classic oldies. We actually have a good time oldie station. So our sister station is WKUN, which is actually right next door, and it plays hits from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. The Beatles music that they play on that station, I like, but you're right. Some of the stuff they got later and kind of got weird.
Yeah.
Just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I still love the classic rock and roll hits from the 50s and 60s. Deanne and the Belmonts, just Richie Valens. Those songs are just something about them. They felt good.
Yeah. Well, but one fun part about me being an entertainer on cruise ships, Debbie and I did 45 or 50 cruises out of Miami. For Norwegian Cruise Lines.
That had to be fun.
Yeah, but 2 or 3 a year, and also Caribbean. But we got to sail with some of the stars. They would have an oldies rock and roll theme cruise, and I sailed with Dion 4 or 5 times.
Really?
Yeah, and the Platters. Of course, there are 4 or 5 different Platters groups. This was Herb Reed and the Platters. He was the bass of the group, and Paul Revere and the Raiders, Little Anthony and Imperials.
That's too cool.
Mary Wilson of the Supremes, Joy D and the Starlighters, and the craziest one was Wolfman Jack.
The legendary DJ.
One day I was in the pool of the ship. I looked around. There's Wolfman Jack, and we had a good chat. But I got to meet a lot of those stars. They would bring 2 or 3 stars on each one, and they would be the featured artists.
How did that work out? So when you went on a cruise, then you were the entertainment. So then I guess you got to cruise for free as long as you provided a nightly show.
Right. Well, I did these were 7-day cruises, and I would do either 4 or 5 classes. It wouldn't be mine were not shows. Now that was before digital, so I had slides and CDs, and Debbie was my DJ and played all the CDs and showed the slides of the old artists and have trivia and fun. So I'd have classes. I may have 10 in a class. I've had as many as 200 in a class. You just never knew when they did it. So kind of fun.
That sounds like it. I mean, it's a great way to cruise for free. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Chuck Bridwell, retired minister of music, but also a cruise ship entertainer as it pertains to giving history lessons. That had to be very rewarding. And your journey, again, meeting some of these celebrities in the world. Let's talk about now, when did rock and roll then veer off into this strange lane of heavy metal, which I'm not saying I didn't like some heavy metal. I'm still kind of a country music, classics kind of guy. I'm a Journey, Boston. That's kind of my music. But then the heavy metal comes along. Where did this come from?
Those were guys. I'm never much of a heavy metal guy.
You don't strike me as a heavy metal guy, Chuck.
there were actually heavy metal Christian groups too.
Striper,
yeah, but AC/DC and just all the metal guys, mainly in the 80s and 90s for those guys. So I don't know. See, I taught only oldies. So I just did 50s and 60s.
So you would like our WKUN station.
Yeah.
It's a small signal. It really only covers the downtown Monroe area, but you can stream it at WKUNradio.com. And I got to tell you, Chastity, when I'm not listening to WMOQ, I'm listening to WKUN.
Yeah. I have Sirius Radio, and I've got 40s, 50s, 60s on there.
Sirius Radio's of the devil.
He would love it. Yes, he would love it.
We won't mention Sirius, will we?
And our Southern Gospel segment. He would really enjoy
Do we do that? That's on WMOQ on Sundays,
That's Sundays.
right? Yeah, that's on this station.
Yeah.
But the KUN plays all the hits from 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And when I listen to that, and granted, my genre is really 70s and 80s. That's it. And Chuck, so I realize I am getting old when on our oldie station, they played Kiss. I didn't know Kiss was considered oldies.
They are these days.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Time is just absolutely flying. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We come back, continuing our conversation with Chuck Bridwell. Stick around.
Leadfoot Mulching and Grading offers land clearing, hauling of gravel and sand, and more. And now offering screen topsoil for the farmer or homeowner, asphalt paving, and more. No job is too big or small. Locally owned and operated, it's Leadfoot Mulching and Grading, serving all of North Georgia. Fair prices and great customer service. Phone 404-909-5227 or go to leadfootmulching.com.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Hey y'all, it's Bethany at Willfully Guided Co. Boots and Western Apparel. Whether you're on the job site, in the barn, or out on the town, we've got the perfect boots for every occasion. From rugged work boots to stylish fashion picks, let us outfit the entire family from head to toe. Come see us at 116 South Broad Street, right in the heart of beautiful downtown Monroe. Willfully Guided Co. Boots and Western Apparel, your local, family-owned destination for the finest boots and apparel around.
Franklin's Gun Shop in Athens has everything you need for hunting and fishing. They have great prices on their guns, ammo, scopes, bows, gun safes, knives, blinds, tree stands, and rod and reels, clothing, and more. I do all of my shopping at Franklin's, and they're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 9 to 9 and Sunday noon to 6. At Franklin's, you'll get great customer service from people who know what they're talking about. Family owned since 1961, located at 3941 Atlanta Highway in Athens.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to mainstreetbarberloganville.com to learn more.
Keep your vehicle looking and running like new with help from the Wow Express in Monroe, offering a state-of-the-art drive-through vehicle car wash that includes free vacuums, window cleaner, and so much more. Be sure to check out their unlimited wash club that saves you money. Open 7 days a week at 911 North Broad Street in Monroe and their second location at 242 North Broad Street in Winder. To learn more, go to wowwashandlube.com.
Are you looking for custom t-shirts, golf shirts, or uniforms for yourself or work? What about a family reunion, a fundraiser, or sports team? Whatever you're looking for, Chris and Debbie at Blue Hound in Monroe can help you. Real Country uses Blue Hound for our golf shirts and t-shirts. They do quality work and they're great folks. Blue Hound is located at 111 East Washington Street in Monroe. Go by and see what they can do for you or call 404-307-3664. That's 404-307-3664. Tell them April sent you.
Welcome back. Marc McMain continuing our conversation with Chuck Bridwell, retired minister of music and self-proclaimed music historian. Let's continue this, Chuck. Let's talk about the history of country music, because we are a country station.
All right. Well, that's a whole different challenge for me as I was doing the historical facts, because rock and roll, I just had to do 50s, 60s. They wanted me to do all of country music. Now, the big bang of country music was in 1927 in Bristol, Tennessee. It's called the Bristol Sessions, and a guy by the name of Ralph Peer went to record. He had heard there was music up in the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay.
And so he started bringing these singers in. Before, if you recorded anything in the early 20s, you had to go to New York City. But he brought all of his equipment down to Bristol, Tennessee. And the two biggest names that came out of there were the Carter family, A.P. Carter and Maybelle and Sarah. And in fact, June Carter, Cash, came out of that line, that bloodline.
Okay. Yeah.
And they Will the Circle Be Unbroken? And
Chastity, are you taking notes on this? Because there's going to be an exam later. Just hope you know that.
Yes, that's on. I have that song.
The Wabash Cannonball came out of the Carter fold. Now, the other guy was Jimmy Rogers.
Okay.
Now, there was a later Jimmy Rogers in rock and roll, Jammyi, Jammie.
No relation.
No relation. He did Honeycomb and some of those.
Yeah, because many consider Jimmy Rogers to kind of be that godfather, grandfather of country music.
Yeah, and Jimmy Rogers is the godfather of country music. And he was a singing brakeman, was his what they would call him, and he was the blue yodeler. I mean, he was famous for his yodeling.
Yeah.
And so he really started it all, and then through the many years, country music, early country music was spawned not only country music but bluegrass, southern gospel, other phases of early music, and even came out of the shape note fa sol la singing of the 1800s. And so that kind of all merged, and most of it, music actually came from Europe, over from England, and when the migration came, and the people who ended up in the hills kind of kept that going, and that's where the Bristol sessions, they recorded about 15 or so different groups or singers, and he came back in 1928 and did another whole set of those, of the Bristol sessions. And then the oldies country music, and I know a lot of those people don't like the new country music.
Sure.
You would know that better than me.
Yeah, right. And so when you say oldies, are you now talking about like Johnny Cash, that era?
Yeah.
Hank Sr.?
George Jones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, I sailed with George Jones about 5 or 6
Did
times.
you really? Wow.
Yeah, he was pretty old.
Yeah.
And he had his, I don't know, third, fourth wife with him that kind of shepherded him around. But yeah, he was, his song, I Stopped Loving Her Today, is known as the best country music song ever.
Yeah.
Tearjerker song. But yeah, he was on several, and Crystal Gale I sailed with, the singer, and Asleep at the Wheel. And
so when you see these artists come on the cruises and they're there to perform, could they still bring it?
Oh yeah. They didn't have to audition, but the entertainment director for the whole cruise lines would deal with their agents and made sure that they could bring it. Now, I had one interesting thing. Now, this is back to rock and roll. Jay and the Americans, and they came on a ship, and we were doing 2 cruises back to back. And Jay got up with his Americans, and in the first cruise, and a lot of profanity.
Ooh, that probably didn't go over real well.
Did not go over well, and they warned him, and then he told them what he thought about their opinion.
Where they can put it.
Well, so, right. And so we got off the ship, spend the night in Miami, and then get back on and find out only And the Americans got on.
He wasn't invited to come back on.
No, he didn't. He left.
Yeah.
He got so mad he left. And so that was the joke of that cruise, was featuring And the Americans.
Oh, that's...
And they actually
left
did a
them
couple
off.
of shows. They were good.
Oh, that's great. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show, continuing conversation. Chuck Bridwell, retired minister of music, talking about the history of country music. What I find interesting for me, just as a consumer of music, I appreciate all genres of music. I just appreciate good music. When you talk about rock and roll, love the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I am not a fan of modern day rock and roll at all. I just don't like it. I don't listen to it. I don't connect with it. But when you talk about country music, my genre is the 80s and 90s, the Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson, Travis Tritt. That's my genre of country music. We play a ton of that here on WMOQ. But I also like the modern stuff. The modern stuff is really good.
Well, to me, super modern country is more pop than country. Because when if I want to hear country music, I want to hear country music, and the Brooks and Dunn and Garth Brooks and all those guys, they qualify for me.
Yep.
But the early guys, I really love. I mean, hearing Willie Nelson and
special.
Yeah. I mean, there's just something about that. But see, the irony. My training, I'm classically trained. I've conducted Messiah. I've done Bach, Beethoven. And that was what I learned how to do. And then I graduate. Then everything else happens.
Right.
And I still will do a Messiah sing along. I'll go and the whole Messiah is 3.5 hours long.
And it's a shame that you never got to meet our legendary DJ here, Julio the Midnight Chef, who passed away a year and a half ago. And Julio is who I first met when I came to WMOQ some 25 years ago. And Les Lane, we're still blessed that Les is part of our station. He does the Drive Home show, and Les is also career DJ, fantastic. But Julio really was a historian when it came to country music, and you guys would have had a ton to talk about. And as a matter of fact, he used to do the old country jukebox. I think that was on Saturday nights.
Yes.
So that may be something that we got to talk about bringing back, Chassie. That'd be kind of neat to bring back some of the old stuff.
Absolutely.
I think he did it from like 8 till 10. We may have a job for you, Chuck.
There we go.
There you go.
You're hired.
Yes. Sounds wonderful.
That's just too much fun. Chuck, in the last minute and a half that we got, kind of give us a little bit of a wrap up. Tell us, what you enjoyed about what you did, whether it was the time on the cruise, maybe as a music minister, and just your perception of music as a whole and where the direction of this is going.
Yeah. Well, you're looking at the best blessed man you ever met.
Amen.
I've got an amazing family. I've had a varied career, something I could not have predicted as a 14-year-old kid when God called me into music. But I've continued in my music. Right now, I'm actually, I'm directing it at my chorus, the Crestwood Community Chorus.
Still active in it, still doing it.
We do 3 shows a year.
Wow.
And or 2 mainly shows a year. I direct at my Flat Creek Church the senior adult choir, the Golden Corral. Guess where we had our Christmas lunch?
I can only guess.
And then I sing in the choir at First Baptist Church, and we have a living Christmas tree, and so about 100 people up in the tree. I'm hanging onto a very low branch of the tree, I don't know. And I'm still writing and arranging music.
Good for you. Keeps you active.
Anyway, I'm a blessed man.
Well, I hope that Jonathan someday lets you come into Greystone and take charge of those rascals on the stage and tame them a little bit, because they are. But no, I'm just joking. They're very talented, very good group.
They've got an amazing worship team.
They sure do.
Yeah, I love going to every once in a while. When Jennifer preaches, I go. When Jonathan preaches, whatever.
Jonathan married up.
Preaches, I'm always there. And Jolyn even preached one time. But if they sing 5 or 6 songs, and if I recognize one, I've had a good Sunday.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Chuck, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to visit with us. It enriched us. I hope our listeners enjoyed this, and we wish you the best.
Thank you so much. It's a blessing.
Absolutely. Chastity, what's on store for us tomorrow?
So for tomorrow on the Marc McMain Show, we have Julia Waldo.
Oh, yeah. Young lady owns a Pilates studio in downtown Monroe.
Yes.
Yep.
And your friend Alex JJ, I don't want to butcher his last name. Okay.
Alex was a helicopter pilot
Yes.
during the Vietnam War, and he's got a tremendous story to share with us. Yep.
And KJ Allen.
KJ Allen, candidate for state House, Georgia House. Yep.
Yes.
Great. And also in the radio business. So I can't wait to pick his brain on some
that's
stuff.
nice.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So we got something special. Do you have our song queued up for us, Chastity?
I do.
We are a country station, but for you met Dion. We're going to play Dion the Wanderer on our way out. Yeah, a little something special. That's a big one. Folks, we'll be back on tomorrow at noon. Until then, stay safe.